happened 2 years ago on a long, forgotten road somewhere between Ipoh and Kuala Kangsar in Malaysia. I remember that night like it happened yesterday, the kind of memory that never fades no matter how hard you try to push it away. It was almost 1 in the morning. I had just finished visiting a friend and was heading home alone. The air was thick, heavy with humidity, and the fog seemed alive, swirling, shifting under my headlights like something was breathing through it. The road stretched ahead endlessly, swallowed by darkness on both sides. I didn't see a single car for over 20 minutes. The only sound was the steady hum of my engine and the faint rattle of the dash cam mounted on my windshield. I'd only had the camera for about a week. It had both front and rear recording, something I thought was cool at the time. I installed it because of all the wild stories of accidents on rural roads. I didn't know it would capture something far worse. I passed a row of banana trees on the left side of the road. Anyone who grew up in Malaysia knows the stories, the ones about spirits resting under those trees. But I was never superstitious. I even laughed to myself, saying out loud, "Come on, that's just old people's talk." Not even 5 seconds later, I saw it. A figure. At first, I thought it was a person standing beside the trees, but as my headlights swept across, it didn't move. It was tall, too tall, and unnaturally thin. For a moment, I could have sworn I saw hair, long, black, swaying slightly, even though the air was still. Then it was gone. Just like that. I slowed down, my heart suddenly pounding. The air felt heavier now, almost suffocating. I shook my head and told myself I was tired. Long drive, dark night, your mind starts to play tricks. That's all it was. A few minutes later, I glanced in my rearview mirror. Nothing. The road behind me was empty. Just darkness. I sighed in relief, gripping the steering wheel tighter. But then something in the corner of the dashcam screen caught my eye. A shape. It was faint, just a blur at first, but the longer I stared, the clearer it became. A dark silhouette floating several feet above the ground, keeping up with my car. My chest tightened. I blinked, leaned forward, rubbed my eyes, but it didn't disappear. I stepped harder on the gas pedal. The car roared forward, tires squealing lightly on the pavement, but the shape didn't fall behind. It stayed. It was moving without effort, gliding smoothly through the fog. My heart hammered so fast I could barely breathe. I remember whispering to myself, "What the hell is that?" The shape tilted slightly, and that's when I saw it. Hair, long, matted, streaming behind it, and a face, or what looked like one. I don't know why I kept looking. I should have looked away, but something about it held me. The face was pale, greenish, like rotting skin. The eyes, I'll never forget them. Hollow, sunken, but staring directly into the lens. A sound filled the car, faint at first. It wasn't from the radio. It was like a woman crying. Low, broken sobs that rose and fell, sometimes turning into something else. Something that wasn't quite human. I turned the radio off completely, but the crying didn't stop. It grew sharper, higher, almost like a scream muffled by water. My skin crawled. The noise seemed to come from inside the car now. I dared to glance at the dashcam screen again, and froze. The figure was closer. Much closer. I could see its mouth now. It wasn't moving, but the crying was louder than ever, echoing through my ears, vibrating in my chest. Then the car shuddered. Something hit the trunk. Once. A solid, heavy thud. I screamed and slammed my foot on the gas. The car shot forward, the tires squealing, the engine roaring louder than my heartbeat. I didn't dare look back. Not once. But even without seeing, I knew it was still there. I could feel it, like a weight pressing against the back of my skull, something outside the car, watching me.
When I finally reached home, I didn't even park properly. I left the car halfway across the driveway, engine still running, lights cutting through the mist like weak knives. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely pull the key from the ignition. The crying sound had stopped somewhere along the highway, but its echo stayed in my head. I could still hear it, faint, wet, broken, like someone sobbing just outside my window. I rushed inside, locked the door, and went straight to the living room. My short was damp with sweat, and my breathing was uneven. I grabbed my phone and opened the dashcam app. My mind screamed, "Don't watch it," but my curiosity, it won. The footage was there, time-stamped, clear as day. I scrubbed through the timeline to around 1:07 a.m. when I remembered first seeing it. There it was. The thing behind my car. Even through the small screen, I could see it floating, slow, deliberate, matching every turn, every swerve. I paused the frame, zoomed in, the image blurred for a second, then sharpened, revealing her. Long, tangled hair, the faint outline of a torn white dress, a neck twisted slightly to one side, and eyes that seemed to glow in the darkness. Not bright like headlights, dimmer, more organic, as if reflecting pain itself. I froze the video and sat still. I didn't breathe. Every instinct in me screamed that watching any more was a bad idea, but the footage kept calling me back. At the 10-minute mark, something happened. The car jolted in the video. That was the moment I'd felt the impact. But in the footage, the figure didn't hit the car. It vanished. One frame she was there, and in the next, just empty road. Except, in the reflection of the back window, there was a shadow. It wasn't moving with the car, it was inside the car. I paused the frame again. My stomach twisted. My reflection was there, gripping the steering wheel, terrified. And behind me, in the back seat, a black mass with a faint shape of hair. I dropped the phone. It hit the floor, the screen cracking slightly. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. For the rest of the night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the house made me flinch. The ceiling fan hummed like a whisper, and every shadow felt alive. Around 3 a.m., I thought I heard something. Soft, like fingers brushing against the glass window. I turned off the fan. Silence. Then again, scratch. Scratch. I grabbed a flashlight and slowly walked to the window. The curtain moved slightly, even though the window was closed. My throat went dry. When I pulled the curtain open, there was nothing outside, just the reflection of my pale, sleepless face. But then, a faint smudge appeared on the glass. It looked like fingerprints, small, thin, pressed from the outside. That was the moment I realized I might have brought something home with me. The next morning, I tried to convince myself it was all stress. Maybe the video had some weird glitch. Maybe the smudges were from before. Maybe the crying sound was wind interference. I tried every logical excuse I could find. But then when I went to check the car, my blood ran cold. Right there on the trunk, 5 long scratches, deep into the paint, perfectly spaced like claw marks. The metal around them was cold to the touch, colder than the morning air. I deleted the dashcam footage that same day. I didn't want it anymore. I didn't even want the camera in my car. I ripped it off and threw it in the garbage. For a few days, things were quiet. I started to sleep again. The fear slowly faded, until one night, I woke up to that same crying sound. It was distant at first, almost part of a dream, but as I sat up, I realized it was coming from the living room. It was the same voice, the same trembling, broken sob from that night, and then from somewhere in the dark, I heard a whisper, a woman's voice, soft, shaky. She said, "Why did you leave me there?"
I froze when I heard the voice. It wasn't loud. In fact, it was barely above a whisper, but it carried something that cut straight through me. Grief, anger, need. My first instinct was denial. Maybe the TV had turned itself on, or maybe someone outside was talking. But when I stepped into the hallway, I realized the sound wasn't coming from the living room at all. It was coming from my phone. It lay on the nightstand, screen dimly glowing. The dashcam app, the one I had deleted days ago, was open. And the video, that video, was playing by itself. I reached for it with trembling hands. The crying grew louder, echoing faintly around the room. I paused the clip, but the sound didn't stop. It continued, now detached from the phone entirely, as if it were inside the walls. Every muscle in my body tensed. My breathing was shallow. I wanted to leave, to just grab my keys and drive until morning, but something held me there. The phone flickered again. The video rewound itself, frame by frame, until it returned to that moment I'd seen her reflection in the car. But this time, she moved. Her head turned slowly in the video until she was looking directly into the camera. And then, in a faint distortion of the audio, she spoke again. "Why did you leave me?" I threw the phone onto the bed, my heart slamming against my ribs. The room seemed smaller now, darker, heavier. My ears popped, as if the air pressure had shifted.
From the hallway came a soft, dragging sound, like fabric brushing the floor. I stood completely still. The noise stopped, then started again, closer, step by step, slow, uneven, accompanied by a faint, wet sniffle. The crying returned. I turned toward the door. My voice barely came out when I whispered, "Who's there?" No answer, just the sound of quiet sobbing, now right outside my bedroom. I forced myself to move. I reached for the doorknob, my fingers slick with sweat. I turned it slowly, the metal, cold, almost freezing. The moment the door opened an inch, the crying stopped. Silence. Thick, suffocating silence. Then something exhaled right next to my ear. I slammed the door shut and stumbled backward, hitting the wall. My heart was racing so fast, it hurt. I could still feel that cold breath on my skin. The lights flickered once, twice, then went out completely. The whole house fell into darkness. I fumbled for my phone, but it wouldn't turn on. The screen stayed black. That's when I heard the voice again, clearer this time. It was right behind the door. "Look at me!" I backed into a corner, shaking uncontrollably. The door handle twisted slowly, like someone testing it from the other side. Then came 3 knocks. Soft, gentle. Knock, knock, knock. Each one felt heavier than the last, echoing through my chest. I didn't move for nearly an hour. The knocking eventually stopped, the crying faded, and the house fell silent once more. When the lights finally came back on, everything looked normal, except for the door. On its surface, smeared faintly across the wood, were streaks of something dark, something that looked like dried blood. That night I didn't sleep. I sat on the floor until sunrise, staring at that door, afraid that if I closed my eyes, she'd come through it. By morning, I tried calling a friend, anyone, but every time I dialed, the call dropped. The phone buzzed once, and the dashcam app opened again. The same frame, the same face. And then, a new timestamp appeared. Tonight, 1:07 a.m. I didn't understand what the new timestamp meant at first. Tonight, 1:07 a.m. It was like some kind of reminder, or a warning. All that day I couldn't focus. I tried going to work, but my mind kept drifting back to the video. My coworkers said I looked pale. Someone even asked if I was sick. I just told them I hadn't slept, which was true. When I got home that evening, I unplugged every camera in the house. Laptop webcam, security cam, even the tiny lens on the doorbell. I didn't want any more recordings. I didn't want to see her again. By midnight, the house was quiet. Too quiet. I sat on the couch with all the lights on, TV playing softly just for the noise. Every few minutes I checked the time. 12:47, 12:56, 1:03. The moment the clock turned 1:07 a.m., the TV went black. The power didn't go out. The lamp beside me was still on, but the TV screen turned off by itself and stayed dark. My reflection stared back at me in the glass. And then, behind me, another reflection appeared. At first it was blurry, like smoke taking shape. Then the outline sharpened. Long hair, head tilted slightly. Eyes black and hollow. The same woman. I spun around. Nothing was there. But when I looked back at the TV, she was closer. Her face was almost pressed against the glass, her mouth hanging open wider than it should. A low, rattling breath filled the room, even though the speakers were silent. I stood up slowly, moving backward toward the hallway. My throat was dry. My mind screamed, "Run!" But my body didn't listen. The lights flickered. The air turned cold. From the kitchen came a sound, like someone dragging their fingernails across the countertop. A long, scraping noise that made my stomach twist. I took one shaky step forward. The sound stopped. Then, from the reflection on the TV, I saw her move. She was no longer just standing there, she was walking. Slow, deliberate steps toward me. I turned and ran. I don't even remember deciding to, my legs just moved on their own. I sprinted to my bedroom, slammed the door, locked it, and pressed my back against it. For a few seconds, silence. My breathing was the only thing I could hear. Then, tap, tap, tap. Not knocks this time. Fingernails. Scratching lightly on the other side. The scratching grew faster, more desperate, until it turned into pounding. The entire door shook on its hinges. I screamed, "What do you want from me?" And through the pounding came a voice. Faint, trembling, but perfectly clear. "Let me in." Something in the voice sounded broken, sad. Like she wasn't angry, she was begging. The pounding stopped. I pressed my ear against the door, stupidly thinking it was over, but then through the crack under the frame, I saw movement. Hair. Long, black strands sliding underneath, curling across the floor like living things. I stumbled back, heart hammering, and grabbed the nearest thing I could, a small desk lamp. I smashed it down on the hair, screaming. The light exploded, and the hair recoiled instantly, vanishing. Silence again. The kind that makes your ears ring. I stood there in the dark, shaking, gripping the broken lamp like a weapon. I didn't move for the rest of the night. When morning came, the door looked untouched. No scratches, no hair, nothing, just ordinary wood. But when I checked my phone, the same one I had thrown days ago, there was a new notification. From the dashcam app I had deleted. It said, "Rear camera connected." When I saw that notification, "Rear camera connected," I just froze. There was no dashcam anymore. I had thrown it in the trash days ago. The garbage truck had already come and gone. So what camera was the app talking about? I tapped the notification with trembling hands. The app opened, black screen at first, then static. Faint white noise, like a weak signal. And slowly, the image formed. It wasn't a road, it wasn't a car. It was my living room. The camera angle was from behind me, like someone was standing just a few feet away filming the back of my head. I turned around instantly. No one was there, just the same couch, the same flickering lamp, that same cold air that had never quite gone away since that night. I looked back at the phone. The video was still running, still showing me, except now there was something behind me in the footage. A shape. Black, long-haired, leaning forward slowly like it was about to whisper into my ear. I dropped the phone and stumbled backwards, slamming into the table. My heart was slamming so hard I couldn't breathe. The phone landed face up, and the video kept playing. The figure's mouth was opened wider now, too wide, like the skin around it was tearing. Then the sound started. That same crying. But this time it wasn't distant or faint. It was coming straight out of the phone speaker, raw and sharp, like it was happening right beside me. I kicked the phone away, but the crying didn't stop. It echoed through the house, bouncing off the walls. I covered my ears and shouted, "Leave me alone!" The sound stopped instantly. For a few seconds, silence again. Then, my phone buzzed. A new message appeared on the screen. No number, no contact name, just one line of text. "You saw me first." My hands were shaking uncontrollably. I didn't understand. I didn't want to understand. I tried turning off the phone, but it wouldn't shut down. The screen went black, then turned back on by itself. A new video file appeared. No title, no thumbnail, just a timestamp. 1:07 a.m. Again. I hesitated, then tapped it. The video was from a new angle this time, from the corner of my bedroom. I could see myself sleeping, completely unaware. Then the camera panned slightly, as if whoever was holding it had moved. And in the dark corner near the closet, something shifted. A woman, standing perfectly still, her face hidden by her hair. Her body swayed slightly, like she was breathing, or maybe floating. She took one step forward, then another, slowly approaching the bed where I was sleeping in the footage. My stomach twisted. I could see her hand reaching out toward my head, fingers long, thin, almost skeletal. But right before she touched me, the video cut to static. I dropped the phone and stumbled backward, whispering, "No, no, no." When I looked up, the closet door in my real bedroom was open. I swear I hadn't touched it. The air turned cold again. The smell of rot crept into the room. that same damp, earthy scent I'd first smelled near the banana trees that night. The crying returned, softer this time, but closer. It was right inside the room, maybe just behind the closet door. I didn't move. My legs felt like concrete. Then through the crack of the open door, a pale hand slowly reached out and pressed against the floor. The nails were black, the skin bruised and gray. It started pulling itself out, inch by inch, until the hair appeared next, dripping, covering the face. I couldn't even scream. My voice was gone. My heart felt like it stopped completely. The thing raised its head slightly, and though the hair still covered its face, I could feel its eyes on me. And then that same voice, broken, trembling, almost human, whispered from the darkness, "Don't. Look away."
I wanted to run, but my body refused to move. It was like every nerve inside me had locked up. My breath came in short, trembling bursts, my mind screaming while my muscles just froze. The hand on the floor twitched. Then another one appeared, crawling out from the darkness of the closet. She was dragging herself forward, not walking, not gliding, but pulling, like her body didn't work the way it used to. The sound she made wasn't a cry anymore. It was a wet, rattling hiss that filled the room, low and animal, mixed with the faint sound of whispering in a language I didn't recognize. I backed up until my shoulders hit the wall. My phone was still on the floor, the screen glowing faintly. I grabbed it, desperate for light. But when I looked down, the video camera was already recording by itself. The live feed showed me, trembling, pressed against the wall, and right behind me, the Langsuir, fully out of the closet now. Her body was twisted, bones cracking softly as she straightened. Her hair hung in long, clumped strands, soaked with something dark. Her dress, if it ever was a dress, was torn and wet, clinging to skin that looked gray-green under the dim light. I turned the camera toward her, hoping it was just a glitch, a trick of the shadows. But no, she was there, standing between me and the door. The crying began again, but now I realized it wasn't hers, it was mine. She tilted her head slowly, and for the first time, I saw her face clearly. It wasn't like a corpse, it was worse. Her mouth was open far too wide, lips split at the corners. Her teeth weren't sharp, they were human but stained red, as if she'd been biting through something that bled. Her eyes, God, her eyes weren't empty anymore. They were full of pain, rage, desperation. And then she spoke again. "Why didn't you stop?" I shook my head, barely understanding what she meant. She took a step closer. The lights flickered violently. My phone buzzed in my hand, and the dashcam app opened one last time. A new file appeared. This one had no timestamp, just a single word. Before. I played it. The footage was dark and grainy, but I recognized the road. That same stretch near the banana trees. My car headlights sweeping across the fog. But something was different. There was another figure there, standing near the edge of the road. A woman. She was waving. The car, my car, sped past her. She turned, screamed something I couldn't hear. Then the camera jolted, as if it had hit something. The image went black. That's when it hit me. The sound I'd heard that night. The thud on the trunk. It wasn't from outside. It wasn't something hitting the car. It was something being dragged under it. My knees went weak. I dropped the phone. The Langsuir stopped crying. She just stared at me, her mouth trembling. "You left me. You didn't even look." I wanted to say something, anything, but my voice was gone. My throat felt like it was closing. The lights flickered once more, then died completely. In the darkness, I could hear her moving closer. The air grew colder, my breath visible in the faint glow of the phone screen. The camera was still recording, capturing only static now. Her breath touched my ear again. "Now I'll ride with you." And then Nothing. When I woke up, it was morning. The room was bright, the closet was closed, the door unlocked. Everything looked normal. For a second, I thought it had all been a nightmare, until I looked at my phone. The battery was dead, but when I plugged it in, one notification appeared. Rear camera active. I checked the video feed. It showed the inside of my car. Empty. Quiet. The engine wasn't even running. Then, after a few seconds, something moved in the back seat. A strand of black hair slid into the frame, followed by a faint sound, like someone softly weeping. The timestamp on the recording? 1:07 a.m. And it's still recording.